Before you step near a quiet Scottish river, remember this: not every horse waiting by the water is alive. For centuries, people whispered about a creature that looked beautiful from a distance, but deadly up close. It appeared beside lochs, rivers, and lonely pools, where the water looked calm enough to trust. But in the old stories, the calm water was the trap, and the horse was only the bait. This is the legend of the Kelpie, Scotland's shape-shifting water spirit, and one of its most feared myths. Some legends describe it as a powerful horse, dripping with water, its mane tangled with weeds from below. Others say it could change form, becoming almost human when it needed to deceive someone. But the most common warning was simple: never touch the strange horse near the water, because once a rider climbed onto its back, the Kelpie's skin would hold them like glue. Then the creature would turn, rush into the river, and vanish beneath the black surface. No monster had to roar, no beast had to chase. The victim came willingly. That is what makes the Kelpie terrifying. It does not attack fear first, it attacks trust. In Scotland, nearly every lonely river seemed to have its own version of the warning. Parents told children not to wander too close, especially when the water
Ancient
ran
spirits
deep
of the
and
stone,
fast.
watch
And
over
maybe
us now.
that was the first truth hidden inside the myth. Water was beautiful, but it killed. Long before warning signs and fences, stories had to do the work of survival. A child may ignore a rule, but they might remember a monster waiting in the reeds. The Kelpie was not just entertainment, it was fear shaped into a lesson. But over time, the warning grew teeth, hooves, and something much darker than caution. Some tales claimed the Kelpie had the strength of many horses, impossible for any human to control. Yet there was one object that could turn the Kelpie into a servant, a magical bridle. Whoever captured the bridle could command the Kelpie, forcing its power to serve human hands. But legends rarely reward greed. Power taken from the water always came with a price. In some stories, the Kelpie built bridges, carried stone, or worked with impossible strength. But the moment control was lost, the creature returned to the water and to its hunger. That hunger is one of the strangest parts of the legend, because it feels older than the horse. The Kelpie seems to belong to a world where nature is alive, watching, and easily offended. It is not just a creature in the river, it is the river pretending to be a creature. That idea appears again and again in old folklore. The landscape was never empty. Every hill, stone, and stream could carry a memory, a spirit, or a warning. The Kelpie survived because it lived in the place between belief and danger. You did not need to prove it existed to understand what it meant. If the river took someone, the story gave grief a shape people could speak about. A sudden drowning became more than an accident. It became an encounter with something ancient. And that may be why the Kelpie feels more disturbing than ordinary monsters. It does not come from a castle, a graveyard, or the sky. It comes from everyday water. The same water used for washing, drinking, fishing, crossing, and playing. The legend turned the familiar into something uncertain, and uncertainty is where fear grows. In some versions, the Kelpie could appear as a handsome stranger with wet hair, but there was always a clue: water weeds in the hair, or a dampness that never dried. The disguise could change, but the origin remained the same. The Kelpie belonged below. That's why the creature often appeared at the edge, never fully of land or water. The shoreline became a border, and the Kelpie was the thing waiting on that border. In a way, the myth asks a simple question: what happens when humans ignore boundaries? A child climbs on the horse, a traveler trusts the stranger, a village tries to command the river. Each time the same lesson returns: the water cannot be owned. Maybe the Kelpie is not only a monster, maybe it is a memory of floods, drownings, and loss. Maybe it is the voice of parents who had no other way to protect their children. Or maybe, as the old stories insist, something really does watch from beneath the surface. That's the power of folklore. It never has to choose between symbol and nightmare. The Kelpie can be a warning, a ghost, a spirit, and a predator all at once. It changes because water changes. Calm one moment, violent the next. It reflects the sky, hides the depth, and takes the shape of whatever we fear most. That's why the Kelpie feels alive, even in a world of science and maps. We can measure the river's speed, depth, and temperature, but not the fear it carries. Myths survive where facts are not enough to explain what people feel. The Kelpie reminds us that nature does not need evil intentions to be dangerous. It only needs depth, current, darkness, and one person who steps too close. And somewhere in that old fear, a black horse still waits in the mist. It waits for someone curious, lonely, careless, or brave enough to believe it is only a horse. The old people would say that by the time you realize the truth, your hand is already stuck. The water rises, the horse moves, the bank disappears behind you, and then there is only the cold, the dark, and the silence beneath the surface. Maybe the Kelpie was invented to protect children from dangerous waters. Maybe it was created to explain disappearances that villages could not bear to leave unexplained. Or maybe the myth survived because every river still has a moment when it feels alive. Even now, in the quiet places of Scotland, the story has not fully drowned. It waits in the mist, in the reeds, in the sound of water moving where no one stands. So, if you ever see a beautiful horse standing alone beside a dark loch, do not call it closer. Ask yourself why it is wet, why it is waiting, and why the water behind it is so still. Because in the old stories, the Kelpie never needed to chase anyone. It only needed them to trust it.